storm that I can weather. I'm not gonna lie, I might be fueled by my aggression. It can make me lose my mind, I guess I never learned my lesson. In the end, I won't give in, I know for this that I am destined. But it's hard to breathe, I will not leave. Nothing is slowing down, I'm drowning. I don't look now, girl. I'll run like you're ignoring all the warnings. Don't look now, girl. I'll run like you. We get along just fine here on our own. What you offering? Another money mind. Oh, you wanna rob me blind? Well, I don't know this time. Oh, don't wanna just a liar. Don't wanna feed the fire. Tell me what to do. Been listening to my heart. It's leading me from the dark. Tell me
Honk honks in the chat as we're coming in for the weekly skirmish here at the Goose House. I'm Helm Monkey Man in the booth alongside one of a trio of Jacks that's gonna get you all jacked up. Welcome in, Jack, as we're going into our Monday mayhem of weekly Valorant madness. How you been? How's everything been over there? I've been hearing it's getting hot.
Yeah, it's fairly hot. Yeah, I mean, I've got the hoodie on with the sleeves here because I thought the shirt was just a bit scandalous to be putting on any sort of broadcast. But I'm here for fun. I'm here for a laugh. I mean, we're here for some Valorant. Come on, man! It's getting really warm. It's getting spicy. We're here to see some really toasty games.
Yeah, I mean that's cool because we're actually heading over to our first map in the semifinals of Icebox. Ooh. So everyone's trying to pretend that it's colder than it is. I guess if you believe, then it can be achieved, and something else that's also very philosophical. But either way, we go to Icebox, and so I need to know your opinions. We've been seeing some sneak peeks, maybe some like changes. Obviously, those changes are coming into this patchwork, which is a little bit different. The Frenchman of Chamber is back online. Sage's walls are much more powerful than they are. What do you think about the future of Icebox with some of those variants, especially because Viper Mommy is getting a little bit weak?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we're gonna see too many changes. I think a lot of kit is still going to be very familiar, maybe more so the same. The only difference that when Viper goes down, it just means, well, if you want to play really sweaty, if you want to have yourself a very util heavy comp, you're just picking up a Harbor, which picks up the same role essentially. So we're gonna see a Harbor Viper on maps where people are really trying to take control, and I do think Sage is in need of a bit more work, but a step in the right direction. And I'll be honest, I hate Chamber. I'd love to sit here and kiss some royal French up welding cheeks, but I can't do that. I absolutely despise Chamber. I hate the agent as a whole, but that's because I am not good with an op. Everyone that's good with an op loves that Chamber, and it can just win games single-handedly. I despise it.
I mean, he used to be a lot more powerful. Obviously, he has one of the fastest shooting and most powerful guns in the game, but you only get it as good as you are when you're able to actually land your shots. I know when I hit the golden gun, I can't get anything going. So, I pray that, the most of the time that I'm using Chamber is actually on Lotus, which is not what we're primed up to be. And I have seen some, previous play before he was nerfed into the ground where people were getting a bit cheeky on some of these long forms of B and A, especially on top of server on Icebox. So maybe that could come back, but I actually invite a little bit of progression, maybe for people to run away from Viper. But like you said, if you work well with the Harbor, you kind of get a free entry, you get the Cove down. And with as strong as Sages are right now, especially just taking away all your bullets, I think that combination is pretty deadly.
Yeah, it is pretty deadly. I think the biggest issue you have when you have a Chamber is that you don't really find the need or any real necessity for another duelist sometimes. I think for the most part it becomes some sort of a de facto duelist, just because you're able to work up and take space on your own and get out pretty safely for someone to refrag or at least act on some information. So I'll be honest, you mentioned the idea of server and different spots where these guys can play on Icebox. Operators just have free reign towards A. I mean, anyone can talk about holding that B-long angle, but that's not really the most interesting part. I think for the most part, if you want to be tricky, if you want to be a problem causer, you're playing around A on Icebox and you're making sure they cannot shoot back.
Yeah, it's very true. Make sure that everything's basically locked down. And I try to find some clever tuck screens whenever I'm working from kitchen over into bridge, and then work it all the way and take away that sight line from up on top of Nest. But we're gonna see exactly what this does go into, and guess what? Your least favorite agent is in fact gonna be on the field. So Team Axne is gonna be bringing that in with Callow, but we do have Mama Motherland bringing in the Mommy Vipers, and it's weird because you have a Chamber opposite of a Jet, so they could be trying to take those duels a lot.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I do quite hate the Chamber, but to offset it, we do have arguably my favorite agent. Well, I won't say arguably, it's literally my job. We do have a Sky in here as well. So double initiator on Icebox is not something I'm too used to. I don't know how strong or how useful that will be. On the flip side, I'm seeing a KO, which is pretty standard. Well, I was seeing a KO, seeing Jet, Chamber, Sova, Viper. I'll say standard, but I'm unsure what they're going to change up. 2 people hovering a Jet.
Yeah, maybe they're just gonna roulette it. They don't even care.
Oh,
maybe,
God.
no! I've seen a lot of people roulette on top of Reyna. I had a ranked match that did not go well because of that the other day. But
that sounds horrifying.
It was pretty bad. One of them was good on it, and the rest of us were not. But okay, so they're holding it to the very end. Does it change to the harbor, or do we see a full mirror matchup?
Oh wait, he stole us. Whiskey stole it, and now we got a raise.
Okay, so raise is actually fun for working for the verticality on top of Maze going to A, and honestly can get in your face so fast. So there's a lot of speed on the defensive response side of this current matchup.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the good things as well is that when you get to play with initiators, a raise can be quite strong. You're just able to use your utility for chip damage. You take the space that's given up very quickly, and realistically, you're the first contact. Your first point of action, really, when you get to play this explosive Brazilian. But chamber v chamber on this icebox. I mean, I'm intrigued to see how they play this up. I mean, this is something we would have saw like a few acts ago, or maybe even as far as an episode ago. It would have been very normal, but I wonder how they'll set themselves up. It'll be interesting to see how they want to hold certain sites. If we're going to see a Viper to anchor one site and maybe a chamber to play off another, I'm intrigued.
I mean, if there's anything that I know about not just ranked play, but also a bit of the fun that comes into these skirmishes, is that we may get some ego peaks coming out from Nest and across from A. So you got to know, for French superiority, you have to be, jousting in open field and who is the better knight. Well, they're going to do the same thing. It's just going to be from distance. So I would not be surprised to see them all primed up, and that's exactly what the defense is looking like right now. You do have them up in Nest, and they're going to be supported by the Rays to maybe let them escape off of that teleport by putting some of those paint shells down distance to not let them just kind of burst through mid. So that's actually a great kind of combination. And opposite of that, you do have the jet that's sitting over near kitchen. They're going to try and run away off of tailwind from mid. But this is a little bit default. They're not pressing too quickly. But we're going to round number one here of this week's skirmish.
Into round number one. So 3 leaning towards A pretty early. I see a Sova sitting around screens. A trademark that the chamber for the defenders is set on top of. Kalo working around Belt with the Headhunter. No shots connecting as of yet, forcing Qual back. And Tuna Onigiri will see J Whiskey, but again, no real contact initiated. All shots being sent around them in very pretty fashion, like a little rainbow around the people's heads. No real damage dealt as of yet, but now the aggression onto Project Saints here over at B with 2 mollies and a poison orb ready.
So they are setting up the one-way off of that box, so for entry, and everyone's slowly panning over. You do have a couple anchoring onto A, but it does seem that the B hit is going to be coming in pretty darn fast. And then off of that Sky, you love the guiding light. Well, it hits just well, and then so does Onigiri, who has been showcasing themselves in several of these skirmishes. But a blind fire through the smoke. The Sheriff is going to knock Zapso down. Doppelganger Syndrome will be complete. And now you're just left with the 2 that were hanging out in A.
And they're aware. Qual is so aware of Kalo's position and is holding the chamber into this tuck spot. I mean, they're somewhat aware that they can't cross, that the Trailblazer will fall, so it remains a 5v2. A lot of pressure now on Vortex to make something happen, and the drop down comes in. They'll find Kalo, but the refrag comes out, especially in a 1v5. It'll be a bit of a tougher challenge, but Axne gets their third, and it becomes a 1-0 lead to the team bearing that Sova.
That was a much better, more patient bit of opening pistol round play than I was really expecting here, Jackie. Like, this one looked like, okay, we're expected to hit A. I think everyone in every pistol round ever on Icebox, it's run down, just put your brain on the sideline, go to A, and just figure it out. Well, knowing that some of these more vertical duels are going to be happening across from each other with those chambers, not surprised to actually see that slow on down. But you do have the anti-lurk built in with that trademark, and that distance you can actually get from trademark now, since that patch is huge. That's going to be a good pickup as Onigiri hits the dirt.
Opener from the Headhunter, and that's the one big problem, I suppose, when you play against a chamber. Even with a serious economic advantage, someone can fall with the simple click of a button. So Kalo was a lot of stomping towards mid, maybe baiting the footsteps out for a player close to screens, but falling on back. It seems as though the B commitment will be there. I mean, no toxic screen down as of yet from the attacker's Viper, but now we see the orb come up. We see Saint falling back behind sight, and a lot of waiting. I think Axe just waiting for the teammate's blind to wear off. So now they group up for what will effectively be a 4v5, but with a 2-man flank, this can get messy. Very, very messy. And Project Saint finds one. Mama Motherland to trade out, but now Zapso finds Kalo, and now it becomes a 3v1. And with very low HP, Axne really stands no chance. A thrifty round from Team Zapso.
Okay, and this was made possible by the opening pick, but they just stayed patient with it. And also, I mean, I was going to say that because you have a lot less in the tank when it comes to Vipers off their screens and their poison orbs, that you have to be a little bit faster about getting your plant down and kind of acting upon it. And they took their sweet time. They put the screen down. I think they actually were using the poison orb to create some space away from that. No, actually, that was the defenders. So we have an eco break that goes between the first couple of rounds, and this will be Team Zapso that very patiently, able to receive it. But we're going to get a bit quicker here in mid.
Well, and not just a bit quicker. I mean, we're talking full speed through kitchen and under the tube. So Jay Whiskey, I mean, the updrafts and pop shots gets a kill for his measure. Qual and Zapso also get some picks. It's just a 5v1 now, and it's all on Tux with a classic only. I've seen much more winnable situations, but the flawless round with Zapso's final pick, we kind of expected as much, but that fight with Whiskey and was that AA Mama Motherland? That went on for far too long. That felt like an eternity.
Yeah, that you're looking for those particular fights to just be decided in a shot or two, but a single step to the side helped them dance a little bit longer. But we will finally have the buy up though, because off of the first round loss, you're able to find a couple. Basically, have a bonus now working for Team Zapso and Team Axne. Well, they have the arsenal difference, and it should be one that they should rock pretty well forward with. But I love again the combination of this raise and this chamber, because the chamber has a get out of jail free card, and then with Qual hanging out on these paint shells, it creates that differential space. So take away that position from them, hanging out low, and that's going to be a nice spray by Callow. And then Onigiri, much the same. So Duelist hitting the deck again. Axne's going to try and at least put out a recon dart, but get rid of one, and Zapso just waiting from behind. And they're waiting to crash out off of these talk screens, so they're going to be going for more of a default plant.
Yeah, they're going to try and squeeze on side as quick as they can. And I mean, the swing out from Zapso into Tux, a bit hopeful to say the very least. Hunter's Fury available now for Axne, so out comes the toxic screen to retake. In the move comes Mama Motherland from top side, getting some peeks out, but no real damage dealt. Cable trying to pop some shots towards backside again. Bulldog now picked up from Project Saint, who falls back. It's hit by the Trailblazer. Slowly but surely, they will make their way and peek out wider. Molly to clear out Tux by the side of this little server box here, but I don't think the chance will come as the swing out comes in, and Jay Whiskey finds Mama Motherland, and in a 1v3, it's very hopeful. The full whiff from Tux makes it a little bit tougher, and Kalo does get the pick onto Jay Whiskey, and it all falls apart. We're even Stevens after round 4.
See, it falls apart, but there was a lot of damage done because that was the buy-up for Team Axne, and they lost 3 going into this fight. And the defense, they were able to find some numbers. A great swing to finally get rid of that Sky. I mean, you had Tux tucked away backside server, and they were not running from any of the snake bites. They were being chucked at them. So you will have an operator gain onto the field for Whiskey. And then how close are we? We actually are 2 steps away from getting to the Tour of the Forest for Vortex. So there could be some big snipers pulled up onto the field pretty quickly here, but otherwise, it's been a very patient attack for Team Axne. They've been playing with pace, but Whiskey, they're going to shoot Kalo in the face.
The issues here with no space taken and no real initiation, already down one person. I think it does take a lot of patience and skill to try and take the person off the top of that server box, but it just simply wasn't enough. Zapso finds Axne elsewhere as we make this a 5v3, and the B contact comes in. Project Saint peeks out and spots Tuno Nagiri. And now the walk-up comes in. Jay Whiskey for Tux. A very quick refrag comes in, but Vortex top side, cleaning out the Viper and the Jet 1-for-1, and it just looks as though they've lost a bit of direction.
Yeah, and it seems as soon as they lose any kind of contact, or rather, they lose when first contact is found and made onto A, they immediately say, nah, let's rotate. Let's leave. I don't like A. I've never liked A, and I don't want to be on A. And that's a pretty telegraph read because of it. I want to see them maybe either just kind of stick around, maybe fake a rotation. But for right now, this round in particular, I don't know if they're going to stick with that buy. Looks like they will have a hero rifle in the hands of Onigiri, but they're on an eco right now that Zapso can very much gain some momentum with. Project Saint, they're going to step away. They've been doing very good about getting that intel and just playing for life.
So now, Tuna Onigiri to walk up here on A. I know the passive movement here can make moving a little bit quicker, but now they hear all the steps, and it becomes a little bit awkward as Vortex falls and Qual picks off Kalo. Tuna Onigiri will pick off Qual and get over the top to take down the Hunter's Fury and the Opera of J Whiskey. It all just falls apart. And now Project Saint, last alive, shifting all the way through spawn. He'll get a chance for one, you'd find. You take one by surprise here, and everyone's eyes avert all the way back to flank. They'll catch it, and they'll realize it's not flank very soon, or not from spawn very soon. They just do spot him eventually now on top of a belt, but the slope drop down will help. Recon comes up and does ping out the Viper, but the thrifty round secured by Axne. It becomes 3-3. That was very, very, very quick, and I'll be honest, very impressive from Tuna Onigiri.
Yeah, Onigiri, make it, and you're talking about maybe the passive step giving them away, but they dove deep. If there's anything you want a duelist to do, aim for contact, survive it for as long as possible. Your HP bar is supposed to deplete because you're going in there and you're trying to fist fight anyone that is talking absolute smack about your team. And they did so. They found them sitting down when it came to Zapso and their Hunter's Fury, and then Whiskey put to the floor. You will have the Blade Storm not actually getting used this round on the defense because they did win a couple in a row, but you have it on Team Axne instead, so they're going to have a built-up bank for them as we go. First half of this first fight here on stream, call it a quarter or otherwise. And Zapso's looking for any duels for him on top of box. As this Owl Drone it does side him out. And they're being pretty aggressive about how they want to move up, and Qual is able to at least get good for one.
Good for one, and we see the refrag come in onto Zapso and Vortex finding Onigiri and Kalo to hit Qual. It's a 3v3. We're watching blow for blow here as it all seems to come together now for Axne as they get the spike down. The retake toxic screen from Project Saint eventually comes in, a bit of heavy stepping, and only the head spotted, but Kalo deciding it's best to fall back. I mean, this guy just seems to be too quick with it. J Whiskey swinging wide on Rafter will fall to Tux, who was holding close to flank. And now in a 3v2, no more gas left in that toxic screen. The wall already behind that spike, so they can't tap before it. It's just such an awkward spot, and Kalo finds Project Saint, and maybe some fire can make it work, but Mama Motherland sweeps it up, and Team Axne take the lead.
I like the positions that you're seeing Team Axne take right now. Just being on these off angles, unexpected when it comes to those flank positions. That was a good opening pick, but then Tuna Onigiri is able to get rid of Zapso. And this position on server has been such a pivotal part of post-plant holding for Team Axne. They've been able, they can run away from those snake bites. Look, we saw Tux just step away from them before. Same thing is happening for Kalo. Just look, they don't care about all that acid trap. They're gonna just be nice and tucked away. But we go into a rifle round. You're gonna actually have the showstopper maybe pop out. Maybe just a no-buy from Qual. Kind of a weird one. The Blade Storm does at least come out.
Fast flank from Zapso. I think Zapso is already coming down belt. Yeah, he's already picked up Axne back there. But Project Saint getting some shots on in, and the refrag from Onigiri was pretty quick if you ask me. So walking across, popping the ult very, very deep on flank. That won't get much value at all. Vortex top side now watching the back end of this toxic screen, so there's no aggressive swings or pigs. Zapso spotting out the sky of Tux far too early. The Blade Storm of J Whiskey finding Onigiri, and now some serious shots coming in, some serious damage from Kalo, who gets away from the paint shells, but only with about 20 HP, and now he's got to try and attempt to hold his Viper here, who's stuck inside off this toxic screen, but Vortex will take down Kalo. It's a 2 versus 1, snake bites down, and Mama Motherland sat deep, allowed to wait, afforded the time to wait, but the pick comes in, and J Whiskey They'll hold it. They'll have the time. They'll get to the fuse. They even it up once more.
That's exactly what you need out of Mama Motherland, simply to hold the site, contend with anyone that wants to come through, but they didn't take that fight directly into the pit. Everyone stayed to the perimeter outside of it, and they were just not winning into that 2v mini. I think it was 3 bodies dropping, and it was off of the flank that initially created and committed that kind of position, because you did have Zapso on that early flank take down Axne, and then they just kind of rocked through. So both of the captains for these squads, which by the way are both Sovas, I didn't even recognize that. So they're trying to be the smartest arm of the squad, really being the impact players, at least to guide them the way. So through the first 8 rounds, we're all knotted up. We could be dead even through this first half.
We absolutely could. So a lot of shifting contact here towards A. Operator in hand, J Whiskey. I want to call that a 400 MS peak. I'm not too sure why it took so long to shoot, but I'm sure he got it out in the end. Kalo finding J Whiskey and taking down the Opper will now open up the site a bit more. So the swing comes in. Qual with the immediate refrag now. 10 bullets left, spraying on top of screens, and no one there for their effort. Spotted out with the L drone. Actually holding for the peak, waiting for the damage to be dealt, and finds Qual, who was revealed by the L drone. Zapso with the flank gets no value as Onigiri takes it down, but they don't anticipate the second person. But Onigiri will check, and Project Sing gets the refrag. Now in a 3v1, and they spot the top of his head. Top fire, blinding lights, everything coming out. Axne just holding with his aim down sight for the top of this Viper's head that just quite simply won't be there. Walking in on the left, sprayed him with the Vandal shock dart, landing at his feet, 19 HP, and Axne takes him down. Oh my days. Look, I mean, there's something that Tex told us as we got into this. Tex, our producer, he broke us down saying how this guy was always last alive, and they used to call him Project Shift, and that's the second time we've seen him last alive, but I would have hoped for a lot more.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe he would let go of Shift for once, hit a knife, and maybe bounce his way out of there, because he was receiving what's basically a util dump in one spot. Just poison orb, and they're trying to protect themselves, getting sprayed, getting hit with the shock darts, and it was basically a full funnel situation. So Axne, again, they take that leg ahead when it comes to this first half, and we got 3 to go. Team Zapso, though, has been fairly cheeky about how aggressive they want to take some of these positions. They've done it from out of flank on A. They've done it into mid, but because they see numbers, they're actually going to run away. Calo actually does have the tour de force, so this could be a big duel between himself and Vortex all the way back in. The 2 lone Frenchmen onto A, just having a gentleman's duel, which may directly find first contact out a backside nest. They see each other, and then the paint shells are going to just keep away deterrence from this attack. Zapso really trying to just keep Team Axne at arm's reach.
I'm unsure what the play is here from Team Axne. They're waiting for some sort of hyper aggression, which does eventually come in. I see towards BJ Whiskey. Oh no, they're going to walk into 3. Peeking 1, damage being dealt. Molly's to force him back as J Whiskey gets away. Kalo finding Qual for the opener updraft. I quite like this. Oh my days! Onigiri finding Zapso. Zapso just jumped out of his seat there, surely.
This game is it needs to be known that this is a horror genre game, because it happens so much more often than it really should. Still hanging out in this corner. You think Whiskey would have learned? Everyone knew where they were. The heal is going to come up from the overgrowth, from Tux. He's going to top themselves off. It's going to be a 5v1, and Zapso left in a bad situation, but still they're going to get what they can out of mid. I don't know if they're going to be able to find many, but they have a tour de force. That's good for 5. You just have to hit your shots, but that's going to be easier said than done right now, especially because they're all hiding on the inside.
To be good for 5, you need 5 bullets, and I see 4 there, so a little bit more of a tough ask if he wants to try and skewer 2, perhaps, but first contact from the sky, and Tux has been sent to meet his maker, so 4v1 now. This is all exits. I like the angle. I quite like the angle. The Shippy comes out. Oh, I don't like the shot. A bit too flicky, Vortex, buddy. Gotta tone it down. The walk up, the owl drone, the spray down, perhaps. Oh, the movement. The movement as he takes down Axne. But Tuno Nagiri to clean it up and ensure it's a 2-round lead. At the very least, they're going to be even going into the second half.
Onigiri gets at least one. Vortex finds another, and then you call it a movement. That's smooth movement, smooth operator for all of a second. And they do find a couple before getting tagged. But I mean, Onigiri has been an impact player from week to week. 12-7 right now. They do have Blade Storm for later. You've got Team Axne with Axne as captain, having the Hunter's Fury as well, up in a well. 11-6. Opposite of them, Vortex at 11-7. They use their Tour de Force early, so that's not going to be available to them. But otherwise, it seems like Team Axne is in a great position to basically just continue being aggressive. But Zapso does the exact same thing. They run it up, they pick up a gun for an upgrade, but not an upgrade when you're hitting the floor.
And Jay Whiskey has also met that similar ending. So 4v3, weapons advantage, and Kalo very quick to take up as much space as possible as he assumes that spot in danger. They will get contact under, I believe, very soon as well, Kalo, if they keep this angle. No, Ray's gone up into kitchen, so 4 versus 3, it will be a bit of a rough retake, if I'm being honest. They do have a Viper ready if they have some util, but Kalo just dismantles Vortex immediately before anything can happen, and Qual falls, and the ghost of Project Saint will only find one, and maybe, just maybe, that was a little bit too little.
I do like this initial play out of Zapso. It's just a matter of, if you're going to swing into one, you got to know that there's at least another, maybe hanging around the backside of that entry point. So kind of keep your gun up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's look, you'd think, oh, we're good to go. It's COD reloads, man. Look, as soon as I have one bullet out of my mag, I'm reloading. It's unfortunate. I do it too
Oh,
often.
lordy.
That's
I feel that. I'm the type of guy where I could shoot with an Odin and I go down to like 60 bullets. I know I still have 60 bullets. I'm loading that. So round restarts. Yeah, it's gotta be. You need to get everything in there. So Qual, very high paint shells that will buy a lot of time. That's gonna get the drone out of. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all from Team Axne. I mean, you watch that nade drop and Axne will fall, and Motherland gets a pick onto Qual. We're seeing some pacey play now as Vortex. That was a bit of a quick scope attempt, no connection. So Kalo hopping into top site and now getting a little bit chancy, hopping up on towards Raptor, and out comes the Hunter's Fury, and it'll connect with some towards the back, but Zapso still holding and waiting. Squint coming out wide, and Tux getting some shots off, but nothing lands, and now it all just comes and it all falls apart, and Jay Whiskey for 3 makes it a 2-round lead for Team Axne going in towards the second half, but many questions need to be asked.
Yeah, I gotta think that this is also part of that skirmish mentality. These guys play around each other so often, and also this is me playing Chamber a lot, hitting just nothing. It says they'll be traded by Tux. Tux just saying, hey, look, I don't even need my server to feel safe. I'm just gonna come back out and re-peek you. So they do find 5. And, you know, getting, like you said, chancy, just kind of saying, hey, let's take the fight to him. We're already up by at least 2, maybe a 4th or a 3rd, rather, coming around the bend if we can. So it ends up just being, we want to get scrappy. They flip halves. And the key diff between this is that you actually have kind of that burst that can be gained from your raise, and opposite of that, Sky is going to be trying to really slow down what Zapso and the gang are bringing, and I feel like this is a kind of team that can just kind of crash behind the Qual, but they need to see much better positioning, and look how deep Kalo's already gotten up onto Nest. I
mean, it's a full fight push. They're getting really aggressive on A, forcing them back, and just very reactive, incredibly reactive play coming out now from Team Zapso as they try to hold for this Chamber, who tanks a lot of damage from that Sheriff. In fact, I think almost all of their HP will fall. And with no heal available, spray from that Headhunter coming in, nothing connects, but Jay Whiskey finds Kalo extended and found wanting, so Jay Whiskey top side now. Okay, this is getting a little bit crazy, buddy. You gotta sit down. Mama Motherland finding Zapso, and Tux with a Trailblazer in hand. I mean, one towards Snowman, the other 2 towards Yellow, and deep as Project Saint will fall, and now in a 4v2, the Diffuser will get taken down. A very slow reaction. The paint shells come out to try and force them back as they find another, and a Qual in a 1v2. Onigiri next up. The damage not enough, and they find another. It's a 1v1, and it all comes down to this, and the man will fall, but there's simply not enough time. Team Axne take far too long, and Zapso's team make it a 1-round deficit, I should say.
Hey, Hey, if we isolate both of these scoreboards between halves, they're in the lead in this half. It's just a matter of finding one extra. But Qual doing the just absolute work they need to, because they did lose Whiskey on the top side when it came to the bridge. But otherwise, no one expected this position. A great placement out of their paint shells, and they have to step into the fray. And Qual is just winning these pistols from down and distance. And though they eventually fall, they took so much time off the clock. And you know Qual was sweating, wondering, trying to read very quickly how many pistol shots were still remaining. But you know what? Getting it done, that gives them the buy opportunity, and it looks like they're going to try and burst on with a Bulldog.
I'll be on. Oh! Qual! No, thank you, buddy. Sit on down. Great shot from this Marshall. I mean, no refrag comes in either. They're going to react pretty quickly. Tuna on a Giri will use the tailwind into the wall, so no real escape available. Zapso pinging out that Bulldog for a teammate. What am I seeing from Jay Whiskey? Kalo full blinded by Tux, and now they're prompted to sit back and wait. Spam coming in. Axney with another with the Marshall. Whiskey to take Kalo. And now Mama Motherland finds Jay Whiskey. Is this going to be another pistol round that crumbles?
Oh, it very well might. We've seen it go the opposite direction against Team Axney after they got the first attack of the entirety of this semifinal matchup to Axney. They did actually buy up into this. They were at the lesser end of it on this swing. Motherland is just around the corner. Are they ready for it? They're going to take one straight to the dome. Unless they get stabbed? Oh, stab them. Yeah, there we go. And then a Bucky shot make it two as they walk right by. It's off of this timing. They're going to get taken out. And that's Vortex now screaming at the captain, Axney. That was dirty. And of course, if you're just in this corner position off of screens, but the initial shot getting rid of Qual was just as nasty. Oh my gosh.
My days.
Knife to Bucky. Beautiful.
Well, look, Project Saint, that was impressive. But you know what's impressive? We got some insider information again from our incredible producer. This guy, he may or may not have got himself a degree recently, or at least he should have, apparently, with aerospace engineering and piloting. Like, damn. This guy, he's a smooth operator.
Super smart. Maybe can be able to teach me how to fly. I know that I very much don't have the wings to do it, nor the hops. But one day, maybe they'll be able to give me a gyro pack to make it happen. Big spray. Oh,
what?
They're going to fight two before they drop down. Bullet trade happens. Look, you have a triple swing. You're able to live just long enough, and you think maybe the shout out would happen. There is going to be an upgrade. Look, keep the Bucky. Project Saint, you were so good with the Bucky. Just keep that.
Keep that, bro. Keep it. Look, I'm going to be honest. I need like lottery numbers from Kalo. I mean, that final bullet just connected with the poor Sova's head. Zapso, unfortunate, man. Tucked in towards Snowman now. A guiding light will come out. A very high one that will it'll flick against the side off that default box. So no real connection made. On a Giri walking up flank. Fire from Vortex not connecting, and the recheck for flank will come on in. So I think these are lineups on the way down as well. So Marshall play. Wait. This timing could be ever so important. So Zapso last alive in the attacker. Spike is being defused. Motherland will hold on, and Tux with the Phantom will seal the deal. Team Axney restore their lead.
All right, always leading team. Leading the squad by the nose. Honestly, it's a good defensive position for Kalo. And then, yeah, they do walk away with a couple. So you have an operator in the hands of Onigiri. And, I mean, Team Axney has just been able to kind of slowly slide away. Not by a greater distance. We had that middle portion of the first half. Of the middle 6 rounds, you had 5 that went over to Team Axney. But just kind of tripping on their heels right now. Zapso's clawing away. You will have another big rifle round where they've really got to just kind of... They haven't had a bad defense. They've just had moments where they've lost those final duels. It was a numbers game by the end of the last one. And this is going to be a slow crash as well. They just kind of walk it in. They don't try to play with pace. And they may be trying to get this in a position where that Project Saint can use their Viper Pit to really hold that site.
I was quite enjoying that crosshair placement from Project Saint, who was aiming very, very high. I mean, if LeBron James swung, they would have been dead. But Onigiri will find Vortex to start things off. So 5 versus 4, and it looks as though the collapse is going to come in now. In fact, they wanted to come in, but Project Saint will get sat down by that operator. So 5 versus 3, make it 5v2 as Axney finds Jay Whiskey, and now Zapso has to try and make a play happen. And I mean, Tux is going to immediately crouch swing, and the movement from Qual, hoping to connect, will find 1v5. Doable? Winnable? Perhaps. Guiding light comes out, they'll flick into it to dodge, but They will find the Sky of Tux, and up on top of Bells will be the operator. I mean, Knife out, they got to make a move and make it fast. There's a chance here. There is definitely a chance.
Yeah, especially with the Showstopper still active. I've seen aces off Showstoppers in this exact same position. It's just clearly about how you take isolated fights. You know one's coming, screaming at them, as I believe that's Mama Motherland that did come up. But they have that one in open space. Two are going to come from mid. They know exactly where they are. They get one. Actually drops away, but they look off. And that's going to be an operator picked right back up. Onigiri, they traded over. I believe that was for an AR. So it was a good idea, but they had to keep their head on a swivel. So there will be a diffuse coming in. Team Axne, the most they've ever gotten ahead is by 3 rounds, and they have the potential to do that here because that was a rifle round. I think we'll find an eco for Zapso here soon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It looked like it was winnable, but it just seems to be oh so slow. It just seemed to be oh so slow. There was no real vigor. There was no real aggression coming out from the attackers. It was just so stagnant, and it gets shut down so quickly, but that's purely because Tuna Onigiri just has probably the strongest op we've got to see so far.
Yeah, this is a player that likes to flash that from week to week, and already they're in a aggressive position here up in B. They're going to be up on top of that box waiting for anyone to kind of poke out, and I think they do have an off angle to it, so... Oh! Immediately, though, Jay Whiskey getting ruined. So one jet's off the board, while the other one is living high on the life of Riley, and then right in the middle of it, they're trying to get through, but again, this is kind of that save round. What can you do if you can activate behind your util? Sure, the Showstopper does come out. They're looking for anyone to take it away from, but there's no one as they do finally escape.
That was a little bit underwhelming from Qual, I think, especially on an eco. You keep that one in the armory, really. Out comes the Hunter's Fury. Again, no connection from Axne. Okay, that's 2 ults back to back that have been very underwhelming. We're seeing recons come up, some Sheriff Spray coming in, Mama Motherland getting one insta refrag, Kalo finding Qual, and Axne finding Vortex, making it a 3v1. Project Saint last alive, we expect no less. Oh, that first molly missed, and it didn't just miss, it missed badly. Another spray down, no connecting! Project Saint for 2, for 3 perhaps, but no! Kalo will find the Viper! Oh, it was so unlucky, I'll be honest. But
they emptied their mag. They were able to find 23 bullets between the 2 bodies, but with only 2 remaining, they weren't able to find the final. Off of this is just dropping in like a ninja from the sky, and then just as they moved up, they strafed to their right, viewers left. Oh, nearly pulling out the hero play, but it turns into a 2-round swing instead. So Team Axne again up by 3, and this has got to be a rifle that you win if you're a Zapzo, but you got to feel that you were just slightly robbed.
Look, we were told this guy used to be a duelist, but unfortunately, and I quote, he was bad. So now, blame Tech for that one. I'm so sorry, bro. It's just one of those things. We have to see another bit of setup play because Jay Whiskey has just fallen immediately to this operator, and while revealed, I like the attempt from Onigiri, but not enough. The paint shells going towards the back, and now we see some quick movement on the way, and no shot connected, and they know for a fact that Onigiri is still stuck yellow, and he'll eventually be outdone. He'll be overcrowded, and Mama Motherland finds Zapso, and it becomes a 3v3, but that is a tour de force online for the defenders. Maybe a little bit more difficult on the retake.
Try to walk it up, see if you can get that power weapon just into some off angles that you're not expecting. The Viper's Pit will be expended to walk it back in. You're going to get rid of any of extra guiding lights, no pop flashes either. They will have the freebie. Kalo with one more. It's 2v1. Going to put the snake bite down. That's going to hurt Vortex. He's actually got a shadow within the pit, and that pit's going to drop, and they have to immediately find the duel. But up to 11 will go Team Axne. They maneuvered it well, brought themselves a position off of that Viper pit, and then just continued to wreck shop in the snow around it. And this has been such a close quarters up fight. That's been the most surprising part. Nearly good for 2 on that shot.
Very, very close, but the beauty of the operator. I'm going to be honest, I despise the weapon with a passion, but I'm saying this as a judge connoisseur, so maybe take that with a pinch of salt. So,
okay.
Viper
Would you
also.
respect it?
Yeah.
Would you respect it if they brought the op into close quarters combat with a judge?
Oh.
Ooh, see, because it's basically the
Oh.
same. in
You know what?
It's like
I
3
like
feet
that.
away.
I like that. I see this Phantom as well. This is the Aero Phantom. It's a battle pass skin. I got this one myself. I had it equipped for the longest time. I got such bad feedback from friends on it. They thought it was the worst thing they've ever seen. I'm telling you right now, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
It reminds me of some Optic Gaming style esports skin. So maybe they'll say, no, that's totally theirs. Off this one, will they be able to see them? They're not going to be able to find the one up in perch, so finding their twinsy, but it's a 1v4. They've nearly been able to do it before, but they will be laid out by Axne, and now we hit match point here for the semifinal. As you know, this is a rough draw. They kind of ran in with what guns they could be able to purchase. I do wonder if they have enough going into the final, but no one cleared that corner, and everyone trusted that it had been.
That is so unfortunate. So I think all weapons being bought up. I see, 4 rifles and a Guardian, no shield for Zapso.
Oh boy.
But a Hunter's Fury available. That operator still in Tuna Onagiri's hands. And it all comes down to this first contact. And that first contact's coming with Kalo, I believe, over on B. Let's see how quickly they can fight this.
I'd almost say that you can definitely use a Hunter's Fury for some post-plant hold. Oh no, that one didn't make it over. That's an ice. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. MB.
Yeah, that's you call it projectile dysfunction. I think that's what it's called. Gotta be. So Axne will fall into J Whiskey, Tux onto J Whiskey on the refrag. So 3v3, a Hunter's Fury available for the attackers, but we watch Mama Motherland fall, and the shorty in hand will send Project Saint down 2v2, but the spike's already on its holidays over towards A, and how quickly will Tux and Tuna react? I mean, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping for a slower reaction than most, but Qual finding this lurk late through mid and the double satchel to get them towards screen, and now Tux in a 2v1. Arguably a harder spot to win from with a Hunter's Fury online, but still with full kit available bar that ultimate, there is definitely a chance, and we see a bit of a staggered approach, just shifting towards screen. I think one towards backside. They're setting up for 2 1v1s. They're giving Tux every chance. Oh, the peek comes in and no connection landed. Qual just waiting for the timing that won't arrive, and I think Tux now aware that there won't be a chance, and they'll have to keep that one and maybe take away some guns if at all possible, but yikers. No shots really dealt damage.
I mean, it's actually very fortunate that we're going to see at least 2 ARs come back into this, because based off the purchase that we saw from Team Zapzo, with also wonderful observer shot of the paint shells not making it over the canister, but that means 3 rifles off the board. They fully committed. There's going to be some banks that are maybe down to like 2150. So they will be able to get just enough to have themselves back into this fight. Team Axne acting from a position of strength, because the only way that this falls is into overtime if they are to surrender enough to Team Zapso. So they can get still a little bit cheeky. Poison Orb does go out. And look at this challenge by Axne. They're going to have so many players running straight at them as they try to go to kitchen.
Oh, they're through. They're through kitchen as well. Up tube they go, and they get rid of the trademark immediately. Axne finding Qual to start things off, and all of a sudden, Team Zapso, they're at a bit of a disadvantage, and they're requiring a lot of magic to happen. But the operator onto Vortex, and Kalo finds Saint, and now it all comes down to the jet of J Whiskey, who finds Tux in a 1 versus 4. It all comes down to this. The operator will whiff, but Kalo will frag, and Team Axne, they get themselves in towards the finals of this week's community skirmish.
Operator, hello. Yes, I'd like you to transfer my call. We're going to the grand finals, as Team Axne was basically controlling the telephone lines, and they knew what call to make, and it's just to find a W. So they will be moving on to our finals, but a good bit of heat and a fight, of course, from Team Zapso. It kind of fell apart. You had those streaks and runs where they just couldn't get that first contact. First blood's often falling in the side of Team Axne, and they were just finding those, like, defensively, they were just a bit stronger, because you see the tentativeness. Both teams were playing pretty sound and pretty calm when it came to picking a site to go to, but the rotations just played just that much better for Team Axne in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the operator play was just everything. That shut down far too many attempts at site overwhelming, far too many attempts at maybe a late split hit. It seemed to be that win factor. And I mean, Tuna Onigiri was just too strong with that 4,700 credit weapon in hands. They had no counter. They just quite simply had no counter.
Well, we'll be seeing if we'll be on ice or maybe somewhere warmer as we take a quick break. We'll be going into our skirmish finals. Be with us right after this.
So
Sitting lonely in my room again, trying to find the words to say, but nothing comes out. I am looking for the better days, seem like they just stay away whenever I try. There's so many things that I keep in my mind. My friends keep me out and it hurts every time. With all the emotions I built up inside, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Sitting lonely in my room again, acting like I'm innocent. Why do I try? 'Cause now I'm feeling like a fool again, thinking I can fool myself by telling me lies. When there's so many things that I keep in my mind, I hang around people I don't even like. If they can be happy and walk with a smile, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight, 'cause there will be a time.
Welcome back for some more skirmishes as we go back into our Monday Mayhem skirmish as presented by the Goose House. One more time, I'm Monkey Man and Jack, and we're jacked up, ready to go into our finals for this tournament. We don't have any idea what the map is right now, but we're gonna assume it's in Valorant somewhere out there. I don't know. This begs the question, Jack. What is your favorite and least favorite map in the entirety of the game?
Oh, okay. So I'll give you the premise of my picks here. As a Sky Instalocker, I only play Sky. Okay? That much I gotta make clear. Right now, my favorite map is Split. I love it. Love it to bits. It's so good for no reason whatsoever. I love playing Split.
Okay.
Oh,
But
if I had to choose a worst, I've always wondered how Fracture became like a map in attack FPS. I don't understand how it got there. Like every map looks somewhat similar, and then you've got Fracture, And I've sat there before, like I've tried analyzing, I've tried like understanding more bits. It just bemuses me how they allowed that map to exist. I don't get it, man.
They were trying for something different. It's like everyone looked at Haven. They're like, why 3 sites? Like, well, everything else is 2. And then they busted out Icebox. And they're like, well, this is kind of really well divided. It's kind of weird and maybe balanced, but then it's ended up being just the same meta over and over again. And they're like, you know what we could really use is a map that is absolutely broken, half finished, and hey, that's a map. All right, put it in VCT. It's good to go. Fracture.
Yeah.
So there it is. But I appreciate Fracture in the fact that it's like you take that artistic nuance, you're like, you know what? Screw it. Just whatever's in there. It has, because of its divisiveness, created some of the most fun moments. I mean, and also creativity, because you can get the lockdowns from under in sewer, and then that begs the question of either committing an ult to it or maybe just using an aftershock from a breach. But I do love myself some Split, especially after the changes. I'm not much of a Sky person because I pop flash myself, but we do know, in fact, where we're going, as we're going to be walking into wide bind. So off of these changes, what kind of really has been any difference of change at all?
I mean, look, we saw this alteration to bind as a map. I think they changed up the shower teleporters, which is one of my favorite adjustments that I've seen made so far. It allows for a different style of play. I find that people used to always maybe just walk up and take showers very quickly, but now you have this chance to completely play off it. The wide entry points and exit points as well from that. It's the showers walk in, and now there's a small little vent over on B side as well. It creates just different dynamics because we were very used to that old bind that was... it could have sent anyone to sleep. It was just so painful to play on. But I do quite enjoy it a bit more now. It's not changed drastically. Let's be honest here. There's nothing too drastic has changed, but these small little micro adjustments have they've created new different things to look out for. So it's just not the same old bind that we're used to.
Yeah, and the main thing that I think that has really changed up, especially into ranked play, is about the aggression that you can make going from TP on B long over into A. And especially because that TP is right outside of showers. And I have seen too many Yorus plus Jets busting through with gate crashers and cloudbursts, chasing me down. I used to think, oh, okay, I'm safe. I hear the TP noise. I have this distance fight that I can take, and they have to run all the way to the showers. No, they're right around the corner. They could just mess you up in a moment's notice, but it still begets kind of its own meta. You often get 2 controllers here. We, at least from Team Axne, Axne himself is going to be on that Sova. You do have Tux that's staying on the Sky, and it's really kind of the change up between Mama Motherland going to the Killjoy and Kalo on the Brim. But opposite of that, we have some controller diffs here. And I want to see what duelists we get for Team South.
I'm going to be honest. If you want a solo controller on these maps, you need like a Brimstone. I'm going to be honest. Like you need a Brimstone for a solo controller here. I think Grog's idea with the Omen could be different, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough. Ray's Jet seems to be the order of the day for Team Axne, and just Ray's and, well, to combo, I guess, Chamber for Team South 11, but I'm unsure. I don't know how I feel about that.
This is gonna be an interesting one because I actually stepped away from playing Omen earlier whenever I was playing on Bind because you do have the rolling dark covers that can still come up, but it doesn't seem that there's enough time for holding a site, entering, and then getting your next one to really have that be very effective. You can much more methodically stagger your Sky Smokes off of a Brimstone, and of course then actually have a Molly. But that begs the question: are we going to get Grog a little bit chippy, maybe going for some of those fights out into Hall or otherwise? But they're going to be on defense to start things off as well. And Onigiri actually changing over from the Jet into a Raze. But this is basically a playground for, especially if you have a Brimstem, for Raze to just launch themselves forward.
Yeah, I think this is the map that was made for Raze, if I'm being honest. Everything about it just screams Raze. We're talking about the Rumbas that you can set up. We're talking about paint shells. And I mean, there's so many spots where you can set yourself up with blast packs to take some really interesting and really important chokes very quickly. So we will be getting into this map very shortly. That's another thing I'd like to see here. I think this cinematic may be a touch outdated, only because that triple box now is so different. When you're able to peek over the top of it now with the small drop down, it looks so cool. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's actually a very fun piece because you actually have to kind of swing wide around. It gives all of an extra moment to kind of cat and mouse, which I'm not gonna lie, into 1v1s I've done a lot on side A. Look, there have been times that the bomb has only been able to explode because I just kept running away. My title is chicken for a reason, and it's because I ain't gonna take that fight if I don't have to.
I understand completely. So the ball's rolling here, I suppose, for the grand finals of this week's community skirmish. So we'll see how this sets up. I like the chamber pick here. We've seen the chamber being picked a lot more on bind, especially in like today's big VCTs. So we'll see what they can do in a TGH event. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. Ooh, trademark down.
Hey, you know what? That's how you get rid of some util. They know exactly one is there, looking for the immediate first duel. And South 11 definitely thankful that they are playing on a agent that's able to TP away. They're going to be able to get some of themselves topped off of the overgrowth, which is going to be used completely, nearly. They're testing from mid, seeing if there's going to be any other push. And they do have paint shells available. Yes, they are. Okay, so that's going to be the damage and the blind that's going to be coming through. So deterrence has kept them slow, especially because the smoke is down on that dark cover, creating that one way. But just waiting for some of these duels. This is a very patient attack.
It is, and I'm quite a fan of the showers walk up, but I think the biggest issue now is that it poses that the Rays will be on a lurk of some sort. 4 leaning towards A, and that audio cue is going to come in very, very soon once this... well, it's not even an alarm bot, is it? It is an alarm bot. It gets triggered, and they just walk on down the turret for the next bit of contact spike getting planted, and the nano swarms just take down Kalo, so 4v3 caught him towards elbow, shoulder spotted as Axney takes down Candy, and now a 3v3 with Spike down, and the retake will ensue. Trailblazer spots out the sky, tucked in on this left-hand side. They're aware, and they're holding Axney. Gets another, the shoulder spotted Axney for 3. Grog finding Tux, but Grog in a 2 versus 1. It's Mama Motherland and Axney up against the Omen, and holding for this peak that I just don't think will come on in, and sat top side, the adjustment comes in, and the shoulder peak, it seems to be all fall apart, but there's no time for Grog to do this.
Grog
There's no time.
Gotta have Pog. Gotta make sure that you go for these duels. I mean, you just kind of waited very patiently, but patience doesn't pay off, especially in a pistol round. Axney finds 4, and you know, you called it 3 times in a row. Shoulder diff seems to be key here in this pistol. Killjoy with too much of the yellow puffy jacket, and then I guess maybe our Sky is just a bit too swole. Has like that giant Australian shoulder. For sure.
I don't know. It's like Grog just watched their bus drive past twice. They had 2 opportunities to get out, and both times ignored it and decided, I'm just going to sit and spawn and wait for magic to happen. They're not going to peek you, man. Come on, speed up. Speed up. Yeah. So, 1-0 to Team Axney, and the second round buy-up comes in, and I'm seeing a Marshall from the open attack, and we walk into a stack, but that judge play is, I'm going to be honest, I love every second of it.
Oh my goodness, they actually attacked them so hard that they TP'd away, and their body was flopping as it TP'd out of the box. So
no.
The rendezvous, and now this aggression, Tuna Onigiri is turning this into just a funnel.
What?
Oh, but from behind of them, they didn't clear corner. Any unknown guys going to be able to be good for 2. Mama Motherland does eventually get them, and now retake, they're able to push right back onto site. From its own, looking for another teleporter. TPs mean death. That is all it stands for. But now you've got all of 1 left. Often U-Haul. If they can be able to win this trade against Motherland, I'd be surprised. But everyone getting good for 2 out here. It's Team Axney. They're able to find 2.
I have no idea what I just watched. I mean, the fact that Tuna Onigiri was fighting Spawn here all while this guy was dogging the entire time in the open, it bewilders me. I mean, even Grog's attempt to try to step to get down from heaven to behind triple, that just got dismantled in a heartbeat. So now round 3 is to ensue. We see 2 Spectres and a Judge. I make that another Marshall as well. I'm unsure what the buy situation is. I'm still seeing a classic for Kalo, but round 3 ensues against 4 rifles and a Judge. This could be crazy.
Kalo, they're just trying to build up so much cash. That actually may beget bringing in an operator into round 3 if they were to win this, maybe, or even if they lose, maybe. You know, if you see some of that conservation, maybe they're also just chilling. They can do this all with a pistol and play from distance. But Grog holding tight angle, Trying to see if they can take down anyone, pop them like a pinata. They will be caught in the crossfire, and so they are good for another make in a second.
Oh my.
As they do move through and Garden and Tux trying to not let the chip damage ultimately take them down, but they are stuck into a 1v5 that took all of like 20 seconds.
I'm gonna be honest, they just tried to walk out of a Omen smoke, and when your Sky still has both flashes and your team are out on site after jumping through an Omen smoke, many questions to be asked, not enough answers, so round 3 goes against Team Axne this time around, but I wonder if they'll try and set themselves up. I mean, if you have someone play close into a smoke here, okay? The Omen smokes, you either wait those out or you get hyper aggressive on them. We did see Team Axne get hyper aggressive, but with no blind, they just jumped into a very strong hold.
Yeah, it's when you're moving from out of that smoke. I give all the respect in the world to anyone that wants to be aggressive, just literally bodying bullets. But you only have so much armor, and you're only so thick. But it does look like we're going to be partying over in the showers. Okay, I hope everyone brought their water wings and an extra loofah because we're going in there together and hanging out from distance. Now, they have to be aware of maybe that TP. No one's been aggressive into B long, so it's not going to be very fast. And they will probably leave the Killjoy to anchor as they aim to plant very close sight. So the Sky Smokes all go down. They're going to take away any kind of sniping capability from Heaven. And they do have one in corner. They've been able to tag them up.
I'm still wondering what this approach is. I don't have an answer for you just yet. They seem to be stalled by, I think it was a friendly smoke. So now the smokes all fade and they finally try to get spiked down. They're getting some pop shots off towards bench, and now Tux with a flash in hand is gonna wait for his teammates to adjust for some sort of a play, I think. And now Angle's being held, and Onigiri falls to Lunar. Any unknown guy finding Axne, and the spray down will find Tux from Any Unknown Guy, and stuck on benches Kalo, who gets another, and Mama Motherland to get a pick, and it seems to be a bit tougher than you'd like, but the Molly is going to chip away, and now it's some Killjoy on Killjoy action. It's Mama Motherland versus Candy, and Candy has to cross fast because time is of the essence, and there simply isn't enough. They can run and try to get to this spike. I think there's going to be zero time, and Mama Motherland has just won the round by deciding, you know what? I don't want this.
Didn't I tell you? Cat and mouse not engaging the fight and simply living as a distant threat. That is some of the best play that you can have. I know it's the coward's way out, but it's also a round win. A W is a W, and I love that they still looked for the spread spray down on the floor, but they couldn't identify it, and then recognizing that their baby swarm grenade was in danger, they set them off and able to get that kill. So good post-plant hold, and that puts Team South 11 in a weird position, but they do get aggressive, still buying into that operator, and that means the Frenchman is going to be trying to lay some cannon fire from down Long B.
You call it a coward's approach? I think there's winners and losers, and right now Team Axne are showing why they're winners, because that was impressive. Immediate use now of the Trailblazer to clear out a bit of hookah. South 11, I mean, top firing coming in. Inside of the smoke with an op. Are you mental? What am I watching? Get out of there, bro! What? Actually finds South 11. Out comes the showstopper to try and force them back from spawn, and that'll make sure they aren't in that dark cover. Out comes some paint shells to try and delay as well for as long as they possibly can. I mean, all usual coming on back. 5 versus 4. It's very much advantage attackers, but out comes that paranoia, and Grog finds Tux somehow. The Onigiri will find Any Unknown Guy on this attempted retake, and Lunar immediately walks up hookah. The spot out will come in. What am I watching? The flights play from Lunar, who gets in towards backside. It's a 2v1, and Axne with the operator. Good for one, but when you don't have that easy dismiss, it'll just fall apart, and South 11 make it 2.
That was as close to Overwatch as we're gonna see in this game. you had a full dump of as many AoEs as you could all the way into that CT.
Oh yeah.
South 11.
Stop!
You gotta just walk away from that fight. They get sprayed down. Tux is doing their best impression of just shooting your shoes, as apparently every bullet went into the shins instead of the skull, and Grog is able to walk away. That shouldn't have been one, really, from what we saw, that South 11 as a squad would win, but you know, they're just making the best of what they got, and it turned to what we saw. So we go to round 6, we try to forget.
We'll try our very best to forget. And Recon goes up to take a lot of shower. I mean, that gives a lot of space and a lot of information. South 11 operator in hand now, so Grog tucked in this nice little cubby, which will get cleared now. Wait, they avoided. And by a good measure, South 11 finding Axney to open things up and start things off for Team South 11. So 4 versus 5 now, but 3 ultimates available. We shouldn't see them come out here, I'll be honest. We really shouldn't, but we'll see how they like to approach this one. Falling back in towards spawn. Only person on site now being Grog, who used that shredded step to get in, and with the Phantom in hand and 69 HP, I think a wrong bit of contacting. We're gonna have more questions, but South 11 finding Tuna and Agiri to really cement this agent lead right now, 5-3.
They're waiting to burst on the site.
Sky.
Oh, well, they waited a little bit too long. Too much time to... okay, straight off the hip. Okay, Mama Motherland.
Yeah.
Looking for the ace.
Yeah.
And you get it. All right. Just as easily done as anyone trying to step in one at a time. Why not just file them down? Because they were sharpened off the knife of South 11. Goodness gracious. And
as we say here, it's get your ecos for the lads. No, that's what that was. Oh my.
Look, they're just showcasing they can hit their shots. It just has to have 50 meters instead of 5, I guess. Yeah, away from your
for
opponent.
sure. I've seen some interesting approaches to attacking B side against an op, but the one that I never really adopt to take is the 1x1 peak. And Team Axney, they perfected it. It was a very effective 1x1 peak, but it didn't help. So, really high up Killjoy setup with 3 players high up on A as well. They are here to make a point, and I think they're going to try and collapse on this very fast if there's some sort of initiation here. Out comes the Rumba, so no Yuto will fall, and now we get to see this hit. The recon bull comes all the way up and immediately gets taken down by the 2 players on site.
Honestly, with the way that recon bolt looked, it looked like someone just threw a rock. Just like, all right, hit in your window, see if the glass house will break. They do get pretty down in distance forward. The guiding light's going to come out.
Look at the health.
They do have the orbital strike to come down. Candy, though, be able to get rid of Kalo, so there will be no more orbital strike. And you do have the Hunter's Fury that does get exposed just to be able to create some space into this 4-on-3, which has somehow gotten much the better. But South 11, will they perfect the 1x1, leading them by the hand? They can't find the swing. That great blast pack actually taking them out of position, and now they won't be able to be there freely. And still, they're looking at the near side. That's Grog that finds one, and Tux is the lone survivor.
We're 30 seconds left in the round, and both flashes available for Tux, who falls. They're caught in a smoke, and they can't get out. Just use those guiding lights, please. I'm in agony. I can't watch it anymore.
As a Sky main,
my chest.
It's rough. They're trying. You saw them very slowly, pixel by pixel, trying to near that spike just to pick it up and maybe navigate away. But that's exactly why you have those loud squawking birds, is to give yourself some level of distraction so you can do what you need to. But again, another eco round coming in here for Team Axney is Team South 11. I mean, South 11 themselves, the leader of this team, they've got a tour de force online, but they still have an operator in their hands. They're 8-4, and they're looking much better on these duels. Look how patient. This is the thing, though. They're setting up into a default to try and win some of these, especially on an eco, where there has not been any aggression out of this defense from South 11 to press up and take space.
I'm not too sure if I like this initial setup. There's a molly here to delay this wall cope, which it gets spotted, but it seems like a bit of a waste. So Stinger angles, well, Stinger's holding angles here for anyone to cross back, and seeing some top fire as well coming out from any unknown guy who will fall down to effectively 1 HP, and they hold firm. They don't really want to move just yet. They're happy to stagger and keep their positions, and Spike now being picked up and brought towards B by Team Axney, while leaving their attackers of Axney and their Killjoy high up in showers. B seems to be the hit, this alarm bot's next contact, I think, inside of Hookah.
But see, they do have the option, though.
Oh, long no.
As soon as I hear entry, to get them as they try to move around. That's exactly what I was looking for. So Unknown Guy was getting a bit too antsy in their defensive position. Axney has actually been able to take up space, and they're taking a duel to heaven. Now Operator, loses on the timing, and they will be able to burst away. Nearly had him for the collateral,
No
and
way.
then quickly being able to find two.
What?
How does South 11 still survive? Grog's able to drop the spike. Dark cover out as they're just trying to jump peek. And now paint shells. I think that was from a friendly source. But Motherland, they just don't have any time as everyone will eventually drop, trying to cause some damage, but the operator's still in hand. And I like the idea initially, but you have to win this fight if you're Kale.
We do. I mean, the fact that South's got away with 2 there is just criminal. But at the end of the day, it was an eco round. They did get onto site, but just quite simply was not enough. So now 2 rounds to separate the sides. Round number 9 to ensue. It's looking a little bit tough now for the attackers. They've got to start squeezing now on towards this B. It's being a little bit undermanned.
Does come up into a better, more balanced arsenal, but look at the immediate peak. You already have South 11 just hanging out. They're actually going to cross over down to the TP. They un-ADS, and they recognize this chamber is, in fact, chilling right here, but they don't know if he's hanging out into... Oh, actually, they've been able to at least peek him out. So some small damage. They want to test this. I don't know about this ego peek. You're going to have to really kind of blast your way forward, and because they actually make him use that Seeker, they get out of position, looking for one more swing, so they're going to teleport away. But look how deep the spike is still having the option to move back to A. You have one lone Killjoy, but they're going for these fights. South 11, what a clean click. Is able to just get a nice, sick headshot. South 11, again, still looking for any other picks to come to them, but this navigation is a 2v1. You're going to have the sentry turret, give them away, but you're going to have at least some defenders here on A.
Oh, and another Shara walk up. Some really good play. The Seekers coming out to try and find any of these attackers, but the angle won't help out, and Tux will find Candy to start things off. Paranoia comes out and won't connect onto Mama Motherland, so 3 versus 2, and Kalo probably to peek out next. Oh, this timing is going to be so rough. Trying to move for the gun, but not anticipating the contact play. 2 versus 1, and any unknown guy against a Brim Molly, and I think 2 Killjoy Mollies. This is not the best world to live in, and Kalo will fall, but Mama Motherland will succeed, and there's only 1 round to separate them now. Incredible.
Yeah. There's a great bite back, and South 11 is doing all the work they can to consistently find just a level. They got to have such a 50 DPI steady hand, just moving right across, knowing where those temples are at. But otherwise, I love the crossfire setup and the aggressive molly. They're like, no, I'm not throwing this onto the spike. I'm throwing this onto you, and you're gonna have to fight us both from this distance. And they just lose it against Motherland. So Team Axne keeping pace with it, and they actually are gonna be able to run it up. You're gonna have the tour de force come out though. At least, yes, I believe so. Yeah. So this is great. Kind of into round number 10. Team South really has been able to kind of keep Axne confused, but it's mostly off of these initial contacts by South 11. But they're going to see no one, and for the first time for a while, we're going to see at least an initial A fight that's not heading to showers.
Oh, what in the world? Tunonagiri fighting Candy and Lunar with the showstopper. Oh my days! They'll be punished for their over-eagerness to try and push more, but it does open things up, and Team Axne now make it a 4 versus 3, and out comes that tour de force from South 11, taking down Axne. Evens things up, the lockdown coming in from the attackers to try and force them back and not allowing them to start this fast retake, or maybe just that it will because Mama Motherland folds, and in a 3v2, next up is going to be Kalo, who picks out and finds the unknown guy, and it's South 11 in a 2 versus 1, but Tux from backside will take the pick, and wow, we're even.
I loved the aggression, recognizing that lockdown needs to go away. I had no idea that Candy was right next to them. The hubris being punished, but you know what? They did their job. Good for 2. Good to be able to get back, but off of this swing from mid. And that was the kind of fight that Team Axne really relishes. They welcomed that in the semifinal and then did the same thing here as South 11. Instead of playing as if they were repelled back to heaven and had to stay their distance, they tried to immediately chuck down into showers and go get rid of that ultimate. But now through the first 10, we are still tied. It could go 7-5. We could slide back to dead even. And now you actually have the change up here of Sentinels because you have South 11 that went all the way to A, and now back here you have the Killjoy with Candy just trying to play patient off of their gadgets from off of Puka.
Oh, good pick onto Kalo, and if anything, that actually becomes very problematic. There's no smokes now for their exit.
Yeah.
So they're going to exec into the site with, there's, what, 3 people ready for contact? Any unknown guy with this Aristocrat Vandal will spam down on Agiri and make it even tougher. Axney finding Grog. It's a 3v2 in AA Motherland. Well, waiting for this first peak to come out and spotting any unknown guy. And Candy, with the full spray down and a little bit of a dance to celebrate, will take down Axney and restore that lead for Team South 11. But, you know, I'm not going to make any real statements, but I don't know if they're more so aimers or just gamers, because I don't think I'm seeing too many aimers.
No, this is about the same level of aiming that I've been providing. Well, okay, you've got one good aimer, and that's South 11. They're the true aimer, but I think they've also put a ruler on their desk about how far not to put their mouse, and they're just kind of skimming side to side across the front face of that. But otherwise, I mean, South 11, they knew they were in a position where they bought up. You do have a judge, and they're gonna again walking up. It's when South 11 finds these moments that you're just seeing all this stutter started. So Team Axney again, they're starting a man down off of the power play. And we're gonna see if they can just re-navigate this. Now look at this long flank. You actually have Candy all the way backside B. So if they decide to fan away from A because it's just too tough to handle, they're gonna get caught with their pants down.
Oh, the flank. This is a very, very big flank as well. That could be actually problematic. Like, I'm watching this walk up and it still has no real flavor to it as any unknown guy gets one, and the top fire from Showers is prompting everyone to swing. Everyone's grouped up, and this ult's going to come in there to try and chase them down. So they become aware, and Candy just finds tucks and punishes the lack of real map control. And to give you an idea of how little map control they have, they're all just grouped up in the same spot, and they seem to have no real conviction or want to take anything else. And it may be the last 1.5, and the full spray down from Candy with the Vandal makes it a flawless round. And Team South 11, they're heading upwards. They're up by 2.
Up and away goes South 11, but now they got to do it from an attacker standpoint. Candy ruining them, getting 3, and just empty the mag. Have a good time, because all of your teammates are on site, ready to defend. But now we go to this attack. South 11, because of what they can do with that chamber, obviously defense is a little bit more advantageous to them. Can they do the same thing walking into site? Because when you set up those rendezvous, you kind of, all right, you know what kind of contact that you're safely returning to, whereas you put yourself into some interesting positions. Post plant, maybe a little bit better. Immediate onto site takes, well, they're going to have to really find some success around Grog and the smokes, and the same thing for an unknown guy, because those flashes are really going to give them all that space to get South 11 activated into this next attack.
I was going to say I'm not a fan of the Sheriff play from Axney, but he's just sent South 11 to his maker, so I've changed my mind immediately. I think a Silva's util link, it is so punishing. I mean, especially on pistols, I mean, having a Sheriff just seems to be like a bit of a disadvantageous move to make. So Axney no longer trying to punish the Showers players as they group on up. It's a 5 versus 4 as they all lean and sit around this A side. There's no real sense of eagerness or proactivity. It's a little bit of hovering, a little bit of stalling. That's going to seem nothing because it's popped up against the wall. I mean, surely they know though, right? They have to hear the steps. They have to hear Grog jumping around the place like a maniac. Deep flash comes in. Oh.
They're gonna be playing a little bit antsy to it, and they know they're there, so they're gonna keep the numbers, keep the wall up. But the rotation is finally happening over from B, and that does have a free site, as free as 2 very hurt players are. Do they commit to planting here though? Because if they were to TP away, they would actually have a great advantage. But you have 2 full health, and now the paint shells that are trying to get rid of Lunar, and that actually does pay off quite well. Now into a 2v2. Don't want to step into the swarm grenade as that goes over to U-Haul as well.
Ooh, and Grog will spot Toon on Agiri, and now all the pressure in the world is on this poor little killjoy of Mama Motherland who tries to land the right click, the movement to get away, to get to a better spot, and now in a 1v1, Mama Motherland versus Candy, and the turret facing the wrong way, never really posed an issue. The tap comes out, and the right click will land, and double A Mama Motherland will make it a 1-round difference. Team Axney back in this one.
That's what you like to see. chasing him down. And I'm gotta ask you, because I've had some great play into it as of recent. I don't know if it came from the accuracy deterrence or out of movement. Frenzy Gang has gotten stronger. Maybe not on distance fight like that, but frenzies have been pretty stout after the patch. What have you been able to try it?
After the most recent patch, I think the whole idea was to quote unquote nerf a frenzy, where they were trying to nerf the run and gun elements that I can bring to any rounds. But I'll be honest, as a avid friendly frenzy user for the past 6-ish months, nothing's changed. I'll be honest, absolutely nothing's changed. It's so strong. It's always been so strong. And oh yes, Tux, I love this. No, keep your angle. You've got the judge. It's so perfect. High guiding light to try and flash and get an angle to peek out from. The martial fire to land will find Candy, and now some sort of a spray down comes in. That's hit the turret. They get the spike down, so money secured. South 11 in a bit of a tough spot will get absolutely destroyed by that judge, and Team Axne level things up.
I did not realize they bought 2 judges. I thought that Tux had gone to Onigiri and said, "Hey, take my judge, you do the work." But no, they had 2. Gavels were coming down, and Axne was doing work as the turret was right in the way, but because they'd already gotten rid of the Killjoy, there was no reason to fear it. And then just standing behind a wall, but getting smashed in the face by the judge is going to send you to contempt. And otherwise, this is now an all tied up final as we work in round number 15. Now, this is trying to activate from a bonus, but, I mean, they've got a full arsenal. Fairly rich right now. No one fell, and that was a flawless round that could put Team Axne ahead. They've not been able to find that too often, except for the very early portion of this entire match.
Oh, and I don't know if you saw as well, this is going to be tough no matter what. So first peak will come out from Axne onto South 11 here, but no longer keen on pushing it, I think. Recon goes up and immediately gets taken on down towards Hooker. There's a Sky Flash used early as well that didn't exactly connect, so space is given, and South 11 finds Axne to start things off.
That's exactly what South 11 was hoping. The first shot has to miss, and then they can step more aggressively on that strafe to just go and take that duel. But I mean, this is a 3-man stack on the B, really playing around. All the gadgets kind of conga lined in a row onto tube. And I think if they were to recognize that off of this brim, they may rush forward, and they're going to do that anyway off of the Pathfinder. So away they go, trying to take it high. Turret's going to scream at him if there is anyone there, but from backside of box, you do have Kalo that's wanting to put at least a molly down.
Oh!
Not sure about that play. Not at all.
Oh, it's swinging out and just disposing of your life. I mean, just wait, buddy. Like, what have you got to go? Do you have a hot date or something? Is that where you got to go? I don't get it. Tux finds Grog to somehow get another pick in for Team Axne. Unsure what the play will be now as they try and approach from beside this wood box. The satchel's coming on out, will land onto Tunonagiri, and now forcing them out again. South 11 for their third, and Candy onto Tux. Only one rifle dropping from Grog, and not too bad from South 11.
Yeah, South 11 continues to be the dictator of success and the definition of it for this squad. Even if they do drop eventually, everyone just kind of rallies behind them, especially 18-9, that 2.0 KD, looking very, very strong. They haven't needed too many assists because they get the job done. And otherwise, we do find ourselves in our first rifle because the bonus was not obtained by Team Axne, and they want to be able to catch up. But it's just knowing when to play away from these duels. They've given South 11 so much just space for him to kind of work. I mean, look at this 1v4. He's going to be off of this this just lurk position for anyone to come in, and if they want to get aggressive non-TP or maybe non-defender side rotation, he's going to catch him looking. But they also don't see anything from out of hookah. Both these teams have been very receptive to the idea of just simply playing with that open mid space. They don't want to take those fights immediately.
I am quite a fan of this hold here on the B side. I think having the Killjoy utility already set up to hold for Hookah is going to be very strong, and 2 people shooting at it will sell some sort of information. Spike was dropped as well, so the third person will move, and AA Motherland for 2 to dismantle this attack from Team South 11, and the lurk from Showers. Wait, the TP onto side Tux was fast asleep, but I mean, it doesn't change too much. They're just holding for this chamber. Wait, they're coming back. They're coming back because they know they have a lot of spawn taken, and that's going to ping out South 11 immediately. But they don't know about Onigiri and Shower.
30 seconds.
Wait, no, this could be seriously problematic. Out come the paint shells instead of the way. In comes Kamo with his knife out. Maybe some miscoms there as actually fall, and it all comes down to South 11. Now making it a 1 versus 1. The fourth one, perhaps, getting it hot. Stepping, stomping, moving, shooting, landing, and the clutch from South 11. The 4K to lead by 2, and that was special.
Oh, Onigiri, pros never fake, and of course, they're just not ready for this to be a full-time career. If they had simply stuck it, they would have been able to get that bomb defused and South 11 a little bit more frustrated with the squad, but instead, South 11 just doing work and able to have their own theme song at the end of the round, 22-9 now. But yeah, you know, Tux end up just not being able to see the shadow ghost just pop right in front of them. I mean, it's right there. You just speed form and the shadow comes in. All right, but either way, we're gonna leave that one behind, and I think that Team Axne needs to do the exact same thing because South 11 can really dictate
It's a bookie.
further success. And just look how aggressive they're getting into the smoke.
It's a bookie. There's a bookie in the smoke behind you, and he has no idea. Well, now he does. He just got absolutely obliterated. Yeah, I got yours, I guess. Well played, Tux. I mean, 3v1 and Spike going on down, and Onigiri with only a judge for their efforts will get a Phantom and now make it a 2v1, and a Razult comes online, and the Showstopper will find one, but they don't know where the last person is, and 4 bullets left. They're unaware of the backside push. The shift walk, the crouch peek, the walk up, the spray down, and it lands onto Tuna Onigiri, and Candy makes it a 3-round lead. But that could have fallen apart so quickly.
Very well could have. But Tuna Onigiri, you got to feel like deja vu is slapping you in the face. Different person, but same outcome. What a play. Able to get the showstopper and really just get aggressive, but they fall off of it thinking the only position that anyone would ever be in is Showers, but it's off-position defense that is so cheeky and able to just ruin you. So, Candy, you know that they've come up a few times or two where just off of their util positioning have created different kind of awarenesses for the squads. They had them coming out of hookah window, and no one thought they'd be off in the corner. Same thing with that turret. You would think, oh, that's just there to tell them whenever I'm coming through in their shower, but no. And now South 11 is walking it up with a tour de force.
That's just confidence, and he's exuding confidence. He knows exactly the angles he wants to get, and exactly how early he knows he can get there. First contact will be from this bit. Oh, the timing on this! Wait a damn minute. And he knows. He knows full well where he needs to hold. Out comes the molly to make him that little bit less comfortable. So now that their shower is being held and full attention is being assumed, Candy just waiting for the judge to walk up of Tuna Onigiri, and that's just reckless. That's lackluster. And now the walk out with the op, just allowed to walk straight on out. What is this? Stim Beacon comes down, the swing comes out, the spray down, not landing onto the chamber. Hunter's Fury online, we're hearing a Showstopper online. It's Axne, and only the Killjoy left. I mean, straight up into tower with this one, Grog spotting this over deep spawn, and down they'll go the flank on the way in, and Mama Motherland will also just keel over and fall. And now Axne with the crouch spray won't find Lunar, and all of a sudden, Team South 11 find themselves 2 rounds away from taking the whole thing.
See, it almost sounds you're like one of my teammates yelling at me for crouch spraying. Look, I'm trying my best out here. I want to get my bullets accurate and all spraying in the exact same spot, and sometimes you don't do it at the right time in the right moment. Almost tricking him out because the boombot did slide on by, but they were ready for the angle that they had not covered and able to get it done. Great job by Lunar, who's honestly, they're just able to get whatever they need to. They used the showstopper earlier, can't find any value, but it created that threat that everyone had to run away from. Team Axne in a pickle because at 11-7, South 11 2 steps away, and look how deep they buried themselves off the sky smoke. They've got Bucky again. If they just start spraying and praying, they may be able to get it done. But you will also have this boombot. Oh, it's actually been Pathfinder that ruins their day.
Oh my days! And Tux gets timing then by Grog's movement. That's also tough. Went in towards shower. I mean, for the plant, that's going to be... Oh, Oh no, they absolutely butchered the paint shells, and the flank from Candy comes in, and it seems to be a similar story of AA Motherland and Axney needing to retake against a full rifle buy-up, and whatever spray down to come in won't deal enough damage, won't deal the necessary damage, so 64 HP and a stinger. I mean, I've seen much more winnable positions. The jumping 360 from South 11 to come on out. The spray down with the stinger will actually do some serious damage. Not enough time. That much is clear, and the move for the Vandal is will be an audacious one. They'll get their hands on it, but the turret of Candy will also, seal that deal. And now we're going to have 5 match points, and that one hurt.
The only thing that I could say to improve that kind of aggressive positioning into Cubby is to plant that sky smoke a little bit closer, simply to give yourself some of that cover instead of just giving yourself the walking space. But I still like the idea. Maybe at this point in the match, maybe no. But either way, Team South 11, they are 1 round away from being this week's Skirmish champions. Team Axney, well, they made sure that their economy was good enough. But will they themselves be good enough? You don't want to die with ults in hand. And I think the same ones are online for both sides, save for the from the shadows versus the orbital strike, which you got to know that orbital strike has been burning a hole in that Brim's pocket. They want to use it to at least isolate some of this, maybe give themselves a post-plant take. Either way, Pathfinder's going to clear some corners, and they do see one outside window.
But Onigiri with the op finds Candy, and now we're going to see some sort of reposition as Tux will get nailed down with Grog, and Kalo finding Lunar. All of a sudden, serious disadvantage here for the attackers as they're just waiting for more information. They need to play with some sort of info as South 11 just jumps out of the smoke somewhat aimlessly, and now it becomes a 4v2. It's still very much winnable for Team South 11, but it'll require a lot more damage.
You do have Team Axney's Killjoy waiting outside of the shower TP for that kind of rotation, but it does lend itself to going short, and that's why Tuna Onigiri is actually moving all the way to the defensive half back into heaven, trying to make this read. They've got that operator, and they could lay out both Grog and any unknown guy.
They've got the turret
themselves. The dark covers should get used the right way. All right, maybe it won't.
That's
also you might shoot between this guy's legs, so that's a thing too.
Oh god. Oh god, again? The third time, is that coming? Shower Peak comes in, and down goes Grog, and any unknown guy in a 1v4. I think they're pretty much aware that this is no longer winnable. Just holding on to the rifle, and a very ugly one at that. I'm not a fan of the aristocrat.
Hey, you know what? They kept it up. Able to keep themselves alive, and even if it's the worst skin in the game, a gun is still a gun. And the rest of their squad fairly rich enough to still buy forward into this match. So that's a couple of ultimate, or actually just the one ultimate. You did have the orbital strike get used, and that did clear. I believe it was Lunar who was stuck in a corner. So they're looking at their options. South 11 has been winning so many shower fights. I'm surprised they're not already leaning into that space. But because there's also the same kind of aggression been pushing up, they're going to run behind these Seekers. If they get fast on this, that may be behoove them, especially because they did just get a stun, and now the Recon Bolt is going to see much the same. And this is a very close quarters combat fight, as you see Axney already drop off.
The immediate drop off, but because their chamber's fallen, they're turning around so fast. And these Seekers are going to get so much information and garner so much intel. The walk up from Tux will be punished by Grog, and the attackers now find themselves at a 1-agent advantage. The site's going to be reflooded into again by Kalo, who we know what the incomes is jumping paranoia. The Ryanair satchel's coming out from Lunar as well. So Kalo swinging out wide will find Grog. I mean, 2v2, how long and how well can you hold? Find Candy, one more for good measure, and any unknown guy will fall. Kalo for 4. Make sure there's only a 3-round deficit. They're not done yet.
Not at all. No, the fight still continues. And initially, whenever I saw Tux actually dropping down, I thought that was bad because you had all one remaining after Tuna Onigiri was cleared from the board, but they were so hurt off the initial fist fight that happened in Cubby that not everyone was able to top themselves up, especially on a Sky. And I know you as a Sky main, that's probably the one thing you wish you had some advantage of is to heal yourself. If you could, change-ups, I'd think that if you're like, you know what, none of you get this overgrowth. This is mine, and just put it all on your own body.
I do quite like the idea. I think if they were to change up Sky, I wouldn't mind the idea of healing myself. But for the same reason, if you were to change up Sky and had to make one change, I'm asking for that third flashback. So South 11 will spot the mutual very quickly and break it down. And now AA Motherland is going to be aware that a lot of this util may not be as useful as South 11 will fall. And the timing and the jump in from AA Motherland will find Lunar. So it's all starting to crumble. Where's it all gone? The mojo that we saw from Team South 11 is slowly slipping as the triple swing comes in. Axney lost in a world of their own. Any unknown guy caught with spike in hand. But they're going for the from the shadows play. They're going for the from the shadows, but they're going to ult onto the spike and take it if they can. This is going to be serious, and they're moving. They're aware that this could happen. Ult comes in, spike is retained, and now 3v2. Smoke to come up very early. As well as the lockdown. They want to go for this one. They want to secure it now.
Yeah, got to be able to make sure this plant goes down.
Oh, what is
the 2v3, feeling fairly confident, and that's going to be a dark cover. That's an interesting one because it actually creates a lot of space that you can just walk into instead, but they know the lockdown was finishing up. Still, that dark cover will expend. Motherland trying to clear them, but they have their own lockdown. Welcome to the Thunderdome into a 1v2 now. Candy does find him into U-Haul. They could actually just defuse, but you have to take this fight early. Is the lockdown still going on? You basically have 3 seconds to win it, but you're going to lose it. Hitting double digits is Team Axney. A little bit late to the party because South 11 was already there, but they are finding themselves within 2, and the fight continues.
The fight continues. The madness ensues. I'll be honest, that almost smoke towards spawn. That's exactly how I'd smoke if I was on the defender trying to retake. That's exactly what I do to try to get back on the side. That was questionable, but I mean, we live and we learn. So, Team South 11, another buy round. They'll have 4 rifles and a bulldog in hand. So, maybe another chance, another bite at the cherry. Perhaps their final clear chance to take this one before overtime. So, aggression is the order of the day. Recon comes up and gets shot by 3 separate guns, and they would have been heard loud and clear. Kalo won't get spotted by the Trailblazer. It started off a little bit too deep, and now we see the operator being held up nice and high and forcing them out of position. And Kalo for 3, but Grog to refrag, and the rifle round once more just seems to be crumbling from Team South 11. They still have a chance. There's still any real chance that Candy and Grog can make this work, but the operator from Tuno Nagiri makes it that bit harder. Because now Candy in a 1v4 has to make it all count and on their own. The swing comes out again, the tap fire not connecting, but the operator into the corner will take down the Killjoy. There's only one to separate the sides, and I'm going to be honest, the money situation is not good.
It's not great. They will get the slightest amount of extra because of the loser's spree. So they're going to have that extra little bit of sequence, but like you were talking about, they bought complete up into that previous round, which means they don't have pure ARs across them. Any unknown guy, and Lunar just kind of shrugging as hard as they can. South 11 is 2 away from having their tour de force, and you know they'd love to be able to get a couple of picks and use that one-shot weapon to get things complete, but we are a step away from finding ourselves into overtime. Team Axney trying to find a streak to get them there, and no aggression, no just forward push by Kalo, who's been cheeky into that cubby in mid. They want to stay back. They want to stay patient. They want to stay cool, calm, collected. You have a lot of gadgets up in the hookah as they are pretty deep into that entry site. Otherwise, they're ready for the TP play, especially look where Tuna Onigiri is. They want to step straight through and take that fight to shower.
They'll take what they can, and a very recessive A-hold. I think a bit of lamps jiggling, but only a heaven, well, some tower support at best. So now that they're aware the showers is clear, South 11 has every chance to walk up and make a play, but the recon's going to come out very soon, and in fact it's going to land at his feet as well. So when they spot out the chamber, they can react quickly off that information, and I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. So out comes the Trailblazer, will be taken down immediately by some phantom sprays from Kalo. Out comes the Incendiary to try to send them back. The swing from any unknown guy is actually the opener that they may have needed. So Spike will get down here pretty soon, and I'm guessing they're playing for some sort of vault. Is this going to be the tour de force online? Now there's going to be a real issue. So Spraydown will find Lunar. They're going to get some shots in. South 11 whiffing the first one. Nanoswarms to come out, but Tuna Nagiri will fall after activating the showstopper. I think getting the plant down could have been the one thing that they needed to get this side held. We do see actually finding any unknown guy in a 3v3. There will be a Hunter's Fury available. Recon comes up, shock darts. Grog for 1, Grog for 2, Grog for 3 perhaps. Tuck's alive and Grog's third will give Team South 11 the win, and they win this week's Community Skirmish.
Grog Frog going Pog. Oh my goodness, you don't clear one corner and it all falls apart. It was a 3v3 rush, and what a pop shot by South 11. And as soon as you do not clear the Phantom, they will be here to haunt you. My gosh, South 11, it got sweaty for them at the very end though. Their final buy, it was a bit of a discount situation, but they turned into a BOGO and they go and win that final. What a sweaty match at the end though. This was such a feature to see.
It was a very, very good spectacle. It took an awful lot of incisiveness. I think I enjoyed that very last round. I enjoyed the way they sat back. I thought it looked okay. I thought we were set for an overtime. They were sat back completely. They were ready to just play for a nice, smooth retake. And then Kayla went, I really want to fight. Oh, lads, I could really do with a fight right now. And they had no smokes on their retake, so all the chokes could be held. And they did have an op in the hands once the plant went down for South 11's tour de force. So ouch, ouch, ouch. It's a tough way to lose, but also it's a great way to win. So credit where it's due. They were incredible.
Hey, you know what? Someone has to win, someone has to lose. But of course, all you guys out there, you consistently come out and make these skirmishes pretty darn fun to both watch, cast, and play, of course. So make sure that you do check it out into the Discord. That's the TGH Discord to be able to get yourself into the action. Because there's even more. We've been doing Valorant on Mondays and League of Legends on Tuesdays. I'm just as bad at both of them. I'm silver in both. So I guess why not? That means you can still play with everyone that's in here. But hey, come and grab a squad. And of course, Jack, thank you so much for casting with me this week. This was so fun.
Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I'm trying to get some rust off, and thought this was the perfect opportunity, the perfect chance to get it done. And well, what can I say? It's been pretty smooth.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Hey, but thank you guys so much. We also had behind the production, we had Tex and Jacko that were able to help us out. And of course, Ryan and I think a third Jack for all of the social media. We're all just jacked up out here. But hey, we hope that you guys had a great week. It's going to be an even more fun one. So join us tomorrow for some League of Legends. But I'm Hell Monkey Man. That is Jack. And you guys, well, I hope that you had a great time and you're awesome. We'll see you next time.
When you love someone, you're hurting. You gotta take it or leave it here, wasted all alone. I know you're feeling right. I know you're feeling right. I know I'm still gonna need to let you go. I know you fool me when you hold me like, you know you're never gonna let me go. I know you're feeling right. Like you're never gonna let me go. I know you're feeling right. Like you're never
are people down foot when the sun goes down. We are people down foot when the sun goes down. We are people down foot when the sun goes down. We are people down foot when the sun goes down. When the sun goes down.